Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, down at the bottom left-hand corner of Metropolis. We have our Orange Terran player from the team FXO, the incomparable Tau Terran himself, Gumiho. His opponent here at the 12 o'clock position, bringing his team back from a 2-4 deficit and tying things up, sending us to the ace match. It's our Red Zerg player from the team Evil Geniuses. It's Revival.
You know, aside from Gumiho's playstyle, it fits IPL, man. We've had so many ace matches on this map. You know, you gotta wonder if that's just because people hate the map in general, which is not an uncommon sentiment amongst pro players.
Yeah, not a favorite map amongst a lot of people. But, you know, of all the people, we had to assume naturally that if Leenock went down, it was going to be Gumiho anyway. Didn't matter what map was left. But I'm sure Gumiho's a little bit happy, you know, knowing that this is where he gets to play.
In the same respect, this is the matchup that I just remember Revival being dominant in. Things are very different at the top levels, however. You know, if you swamp Terrans, say, you know, you're playing in the Masters League and you're killing people, but then you make it to, you know, the top echelon of players, suddenly versus Protoss may be your best matchup, or versus Zerg. You know, it's a completely different game when you're in those very, very high levels. And it could have just been a little trick, a little play that you were doing all the time in that certain matchup of yours. That was really making you find success. And I don't know that Revival's successes earlier in those lower divisions are going to translate into a win here.
And I really want to know what Revival's strategy is going to be on this map. This is... We saw him do an adaptation of the... or no, I'm sorry, that was Lucky. I don't know what his approach is going to be in ZVT here, specifically against Gumiho, because Gumiho's the kind of guy who's probably going to throw mech at you at some point. He certainly can still do the bio build, but he's very fond of the mech build on this map, transitioning to that super late game Raven play that I talked about before. So clearly, he likes playing towards the late game. So is Revival going to play a very disruptive kind of play, or is he going to sit back and try and match his opponent's macro?
Well, that was pretty interesting that Revival, I mean, I figured maybe, you know, he's going to go the macro route. I know that this is a strong matchup of his. But he did manage to come in there and see the lack of any gases. He saw the, you know, the one racks expand, basically. And yet, he did not opt to go for a greedy play here. So he's making sure to play very, very safe versus Gumiho, because he did go for a 15-15, then followed it up with the gas.
Yeah, this gas is incredibly interesting to me because... you know, it depends on when he's still going to drop down the third base afterwards, but we can see he's saving up a lot of resources, double queening, getting all of his gas ready. We could be seeing a very, very fast, aggressive play out of him.
It's definitely possible. That takes me something. Wow, it's weird how your brain remembers things. Revival likes roaches.
Yeah,
I know he likes roaches in his Zerg versus Terran. I mean, well, I know
can't do anything for a while because his opponent's going to get in here and actually
doesn't click on the gas yet.
No,
he could have gotten it right in the beginning when I wasn't.
Oh boy,
that. But there's the roach one, and it used to be he didn't pressure with the roaches. He would make like 3. He would make 3 or 4 roaches just to deal with Hellions. And then he didn't actually go for the really fast thirds, but it wasn't really that popular back then. You know, kind of DRG was the one who pioneered, like, hey, let me make like 4 roaches and then go take my third. Revival was more, let me make 3 roaches and just play a normal game.
Yeah.
And I mean, this roach horn could absolutely be for that. We'll have to wait and see.
I don't think so, though. He's got 52 supply and he's got a ton of resources available.
Yeah,
this
definitely not.
This is going to be a lot of roaches here in just a second. And indeed, there's 8.
He made 4 and then stopped, and I was like, really? Like, am I gonna be right? Because that's too much gas for me to be right.
Yeah. Well, let's see. 9 roaches. Obviously, we're going to have Banshees in just a second, but 3 Marines inside of a bunker, a couple of Hellions, not enough by itself to hold this amount of roaches. Now, of course, with this style, you can lose SEVs. You can actually lose quite a few of them. You can lose SEVs. You can lose a little bit of economy. You can have this base pressured. As long as you just literally hold it off, you have the tech advantage. You have a lot of advantages that you can carry. But the tough part comes in, well, just holding it off.
Roach is coming forward right now, and we'll see, man. This is going to be really close. Looks like he's opting for medevacs instead, making some marauders as well. A marauder with a medevac can be very, very helpful, but you need a few of them.
Yeah, he's going to try and go around with these Hellions, too. Put on some pressure behind this. He already knows exactly how many roaches are up at the front. He's going to lose workers here. There's not much that's going to happen about that. The Hellion just kind of dives into the middle of all of this. Not really sure what that's doing. The second one is actually going to stay up for a little bit longer. Marines are still chugging away inside of the bunker, and honestly, some pretty good damage has been done so far. These roaches have not been able to go through the bunker yet. Yes, they have killed a fair number of SCVs. You can see 13 workers have actually been killed, but this is going to be held off.
Yeah, it is. But a lot of supply loss, down to just 36 now. How many workers killed overall, Kev? Maybe 9?
Let's see
13?
here.
Okay.
Yeah, 13 to 2. So
I was guessing, by the way. 9, 13, something like that. No,
yes.
Not really. Roaches are dead, by the way. Completely
yes.
Dead.
All the roaches are dead. It's 18 SCVs to 37 drones. And look at this. Revival's actually going to go for 2-base layer out of this. We'll see if we get that quick spire here in just a second to try and continue putting on pressure that way, because Gumiho is going to follow up and do some damage. He's got a medevac. He's got concussive shell marauders. He's going to do damage.
Yeah, 4 roaches spawning right now. But, you know, roaches and queens do pretty good at holding things off. Evolution chambers just wrapping up, and stim just beginning right now for Gumiho, so he's got a lot of time before stim's going to be done, close to the 11-minute mark.
Okay, well, looks like he's tests the water, sees how many roaches there are, decides to pull back. Of course, every one of those roaches that's produced is not a drone, and so the economic advantage that his opponent was carrying is going to be significantly lessened as a result. It was a 18-worker advantage a second ago. It's now down to 13, and there are 3 mules down at the same time. And these Hellions are going to kill a couple of workers, or release pressure for a little while the units move off to the right-hand side one more time.
Oh, but nice target fire, going to immediately kill 2 Hellions. 3 drones do get picked off, but 3 drones for 3 Hellions? I don't know about that trade, Kev.
Yeah, it's back up to a 15-worker advantage now. So Gumiho, you know, I mean, he's still certainly doing pretty well for himself. He's got the tech advantage. He's got a pretty good infrastructure, going up to 2 bunkers. He even kills the Overlord. So he's still not in a bad spot. He's certainly, or I should say that Revival certainly wanted to kill his opponents, but wasn't able to do so.
Wow, a lot of damage on those Hellions before they did manage to get lift off. Only 3.
Well, layer tech is done. Glial reconstitution is being researched, but that's the only thing that's being utilized by the layer tech yet. We haven't seen any higher tier 2 tech structures. He's just making a ton of roaches and going for all in part 2.
Yeah, it really looks like he feels like he can just kill him at this point. Glial reconstitution, the +1. Even continuing to go for the ranged upgrades here.
Oh, these tanks are not going to be done in time. If you got any tanks available, that'd be really, really nice. Oh, the roaches actually hold back, though. They pull back to the Zelnaga Tower while he's worried about what's going on with this medevac. That is actually going to allow for a tank to finish to be part of this fight, although siege mode will not be finished yet.
Yeah, I thought that was an Overlord. If he had an Overlord forward right now, he could actually snipe siege tech off the high ground.
And he's actually going to stim up and try poking at these roaches, but that's a very dangerous proposition. Nice control here with the supply depots, though, by Gumiho, I have to say.
Bring in the Hellions from the back, waiting for the opportune moment.
Look at this. Gumiho, this is so smart. He's holding until his siege tanks get done. It has range on the high ground here that'll be able to defend against a few of these roaches. He's prevented the destructible debris from going down. And the thing is that even if Revival comes around here to the side, siege mode's now going to be finished. And there's going to be 2 tanks out. Yep. So Gumiho has actually delayed and it's strengthened his army considerably.
All right, Hellion's going to go in for a counterattack here. We do have +1 about to complete, so that's a small advantage for Revival. Definitely not as big as the +1 or as the siege mode, however. But this is a ton of roaches right now. Marines and Marauders trying to stim back the SCVs coming off the line. Nice damage being done to these roaches, though, by that tank.
And now we have a second tank, and that is a very significant advantage for Gumiho. At the same time, he's getting in here. He's doing damage to the drones once again. Looks like he's killed 4 or 5 additional workers. Yeah, looks like he killed 5 more there. So he's done a little bit more economic damage. He's evened up the overall worker count. He's held off all in part 2, and now he's stretched his advantage again with that tech. He has siege tanks in place, and that is a fantastic position for him to be in.
Which is actually really interesting because those tanks are actually in a horrible position right now. If you came forward with all those, if you lined up like 5 roaches in a line and brought them forward, could actually kill that front tank. And I don't know, I don't think that second tank, but that front one's just such a vulnerable position.
We'll see if anything else can be done. Looks like this drop was picked up on. Not going to get too much done here for Gumiho. We'll see if he drops back in with it. Looks like he's moving away for now, but of course Revival just now put up his 3rd hatchery. No 3rd command center constructed quite yet for Gumiho, but I'm sure we're going to see one here momentarily. He has a lot of resources banked.
Now, command center just now going down for Gumiho. Let's see, actually, the one attack going down as the tanks were unsieged. being target fired, but no! Revival unable to kill these tanks with beautiful lifting from Gumiho.
Look at that! Micromaster unlocked.
I was just watching the Autonomon 2000 video where the... Did you ever see that video?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Like that?
That's what that just looked
That
like. Gumiho's too good, man.
Oh my god.
Okay, so Gumiho keeps all of his tanks alive.
I thought the tanks were dying, but then I realized they were in the medevac, and then my brain just broke. Like, that was beautiful, man.
Oh yeah, Gumiho, what a show there. Retains all of his forces, going to drop in here in just a second. There's only 3 roaches to block him. There are 15 on the field in total. Most of those are out of position at the moment, so there is a potential for Gumiho to get in, do a little bit of damage here. Pick off an Overlord, maybe a couple of roaches, but certainly be annoying with this and pin his opponent back at home.
Well, 7 infestors are about to spawn. And he should be able to catch these units, but he lost the roaches.
Yeah.
So with no units accompanying these infestors, actually. Okay, there they are, the roaches arrive.
Yeah, but Gumiho's a lot happier forcing out the fungal energy on a handful of units in a medevac than he is a big group of forces.
Yeah, definitely. 95 supply to 126 right now. And Gumiho's going to need some units because, you know, it looks like, I mean, what is that actually? Towards the 4th base of Gumiho.
Let's see. Just a few Marines.
Just hanging out.
Yeah, but he's going to try and pressure back in here. Really nice position for his units to be in. Only loses 1 or 2 Marines. A few more Zerglings are starting to move over, but he's done his damage now. He knows that there's a 4th base up, I believe. Yeah, okay, he caught a glimpse of that.
And his 3rd just getting established. The SCVs main-arting their way down there. Fungal Growth should be able to trap this medevac in these units. Infested Terrans to finish off the medevac.
Okay, so Revival has started to secure his position a little bit. I love the decision to double expand, but of course Gumiho's sitting on 3 command centers, and he's got his 4th now finished up. So he's still in a pretty significantly strong spot.
Yeah.
Of course, he's behind. You mentioned before he's got to get some units out there, but he was spending most of that time producing a ton more barracks. Gumiho, always very orderly with his structures, was kind of forced away from that because of the beginning of the game, but if he had his way, you'd see a line of barracks right there and some factories and a starport on the other side.
Yeah, he definitely does like to segment things off quite a bit. But, I mean, here we are in this position where Gumiho, you know, he's not incredibly far behind because of the massive quantity of roaches that we saw at a Revival. You know, he's got +2 on the way, and his +1 armor is almost complete. It's really just going to be a small upgrade advantage for Revival. The one thing that does scare me is, well, the Hive Tech is already done for Revival, and this is a pretty quick hive, but it looks like actually Gumiho going for absurdly fast 4th and 5th base right now.
I like that he's taking a risk like that, though. He had a lot of minerals banked up. He was investing into his infrastructure. He's really, again, this is Gumiho style of play. Let's bank up. Let's play towards the very late game. Revival's been doing a few nice things, though. He picks up on this 5th base. He knows that it's there. He also knows the existence of this double drop, and that shouldn't be a surprise. He's already shifting units to take care of it. His creep spread is really nice. It's already on clearly on his opponent's side of the map. So some very cool stuff is being done.
I'm waiting for the scan, though. You know, this is a lot of medevac, so I'm thinking Gumiho's possibly going to scan before he comes into this. If he does, he's going to see all these units. And, well, here we go. Let's see if he turns these medevacs around in time.
Oh, this could be bad. This could be very, very bad. He gets out of there, though.
See, this is I mean, Revival has Burrow, and he's staging up to gear for that drop. So now all of his units are, you know, all over the map. If he'd instead, like, burrowed an infestor or 2 and just, you know, pop them up, caught the medevacs.
Yeah, that's actually a good point.
Yeah, I don't know. He had so much time to prepare for that. I was a little surprised he didn't prepare for it better. But you know what? At the same time, he did have to deal with this medevac on the left. By the way, some creep tumors going down. Gumiho cleaning up lots of that forward creep spread that we've seen on Revival so far.
Gumiho has a very nice economy. He's even adding on additional command centers right now outside of his 3rd. Good job. I mean, it's always more important when you're targeting down drones, especially against a Zerg player in this position. Go after the gas ones. Sometimes they forget to throw them back on. Of course, Revival remembered right away. He's a pro player for a reason. But, you know, a good little tip to have.
All the way on the right, we've got a medevac slipping by without him noticing. Oh, does notice at the last moment. Some infested Terrans go down, and that is a dead medevac.
Yes, it is. So very good stuff. Looks like another drop is already queued up and ready to go, just out of Revival's vision. But of course, the biggest thing is that Gumiho, these aren't terribly expendable units. He can't continue to do this over and over and over and over again. But for now, they are, because they're keeping his opponent pinned in on his side of the map. All the while, Gumiho is setting up on his own 5 bases back at home. And we have double Ghost Academy, guys. We're going to see some nukes.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be exciting because Revival's going to have a very immobile army as 11 Broodlords have just been queued up. And, I mean, I definitely agree, Kev. You know, we've got these Marines, you know, they're definitely harassing Revival, but at the same time, he was working towards Broodlords. Now, if Gumiho now started dropping, it would be a huge pain because Revival would have his Broodlords done. It would be time to move out. In this situation, this was almost the time that Gumiho needed to push across the map because we had Revival going for these Broodlords. Now they're done, and it's time for Revival to push.
All right, he's at least going to free up a little bit of supply here by moving some roaches out, pick off a couple of units, destroys the missile turret up at the front, all stuff that he wanted to do. And he actually does kill a significant amount of forces. So Gumiho, again, very nice job picking up that tank and making sure it stays alive. The best thing Gumiho has done in the past few minutes, though, is not even necessarily those drops, as he could do something with that medevac. I'm not sure what's going on there. Look at all the creep that he cleaned up. It was clear out to this side of his of his base, and now there's nothing. Very, very good job. Very diligent of Gumiho to get out there.
It's actually a fantastic point, especially if he wants to find a way to ambush these Broodlords.
All right.
Rolling drops are not going to get much accomplished. But see, he's turning around with the Broodlords, so I'm completely wrong. Like, he actually just walked backwards with those Broodlords for no reason at all. So this is the kind of thing you can do for getting into a player's head, you know? Yeah, it's not a logical move, but, you know, people have emotions.
There's a little bit of a problem, though. Cool, there are ghosts out. Ghosts aren't as effective against Broodlords anymore. We have seen them used still from time to time. There's only one Viking being made at a time. He's only got 2 on the map right now. And there's some pretty good Bailing and Fester coverage behind this.
Yep, this is going to be real. I mean, Revival has all these Corruptors, and he's going to quickly find out that they will kill a Viking, and then he will not need them anymore.
Yes. Drop coming in to try and pull these forces back once again, and this one's a little bit more successful. This is actually going to stay there for a little while, and if unchecked, will actually take out that base. So Revival's going to have his attention split here for a second. There are 2 nukes that are about, 2/3 of the way finished, and we'll see if the Broodlords try to push in on that position or not. Banelings are towing right behind, though.
All right, well, this is going to be tough for Gumiho. Very, very difficult indeed. I actually don't know that he has any. He's losing his ghosts, and those are like his only chance of holding this off. Bailing's likely going to come forward here in a second as the tanks are unsieged.
The nuke is right on top of everything of Revivals. He's got to notice this in time, or this will be an absolute disaster for him. The ghost is still alive, down to just 34 hit points. The nuke lands, but it looks like Revival gets his forces away in time. It only singes a couple of Broodlords.
Oh, singes indeed. Broodlords, very hairy creatures, but Corruptors getting away entirely, and that's just going to allow him, even if he does lose some of these broods, to reproduce them all, and I don't think there's much that Gumiho is going to be able to do. Revival, Kevin, right now, looking like he may actually have brought Evil Geniuses back from a 2-1 deficit.
What an incredible performance here. Gumiho is on the back foot. He's trying to make whatever he can. He's actually making medevac so we can sustain this army for a little bit longer, because most of the infestors have been dealt with, so the Vikings aren't as critical to try and combat the Corruptor count right there. He just needs to be able to keep these Marines for alive as long as is humanly possible, but the Broodlord count has only gone down by 2 during this entire fight. Another nuke behind this, and it looks like Gumiho, no, it immediately gets canceled. The ghost died.
There's no options left at this point for Gumiho, guys. Revival with 1,500 gas, 2,500 minerals is going to be able to just continue to flood in units non-stop. 79 supply remaining, and there is the GG. Evil Geniuses Revival, guys.
Oh my God. My heart goes out to FXO fans everywhere who in 2 consecutive performances have watched their team lose in the very last game after building up a huge lead. But Revival, what an all-star. Takes 3 kills home, defeats Tyr, then Lenok, then Gumiho right afterwards. Revival certainly proving that he has what it takes to be a premier Evil Geniuses member.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us today. It's really nice to be back in the studio.
Yeah.
It's nice to be broadcasting again. And what better? I mean, Revival hit the field, and I was like, I don't want to be biased here, but I'm biased here.
Yeah, I'm kind of a Gumiho fan, so that was a little rough for me.
That was a lot of fun, man. Really, really close match there. Very back and forth between both of those teams.
Yeah.
And, you know, FXO, they honestly, they look so good. It's kind of just like they can't finish in the red zone.
Yeah, man, down. They're just 1 and 2 in their group right now, so they've got to rely on someone else going. Basically, they now have to rely on someone going 3-0, and then the other team's going 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. That's going to be pretty tough. There's some strong teams in their division. That's going to be it for us tonight, though. Tomorrow we are going to be back, I believe, with more IPTL action. We've got that for the rest of the week. Then we've actually got our first repeat player on Fight Club coming in on Monday. We have Western Wolf Sting, of course, who is our reigning Fight Club champion, but Creator Prime is coming back to try and take him on.
Protoss versus Terran. It's going to be an exciting Fight Club match for sure, guys. But for now, we are going to head on out. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we wish you all a pleasant start to 2013.